There we go. The old mute strikes again. You'd think that after all these years of remote meetings at work, I would have thought to check that first, right? Oh, hell yeah. I can pop this chat out and put it next to my Twitch chat, and I can see both. Yeah. Let's just pick up where we were yesterday. I'm gonna try to keep working on this game, even though it's just a throwaway project. We could just work on some random stuff. I guess we can keep working on this, on these components. I'm trying to think of like what's another component. Like we made that health component. You know what we could do is have it. One thing I've been trying to do is like create things that are more modular, so that they can easily be like moved between different places, different projects. So like we have this health component now. If we can create some additional functionality on this, then we could essentially just reuse that in different places. Like you can just right click and say migrate. So I could just keep working on this and then just have like a reusable health component. Same with like inventory, those types of things. Like ultimately we want to be using gas for this type of stuff unless it's like a pretty basic game, but I still need to refresh my gas knowledge a little bit. I used it like a while ago when it first came out, but I completely forgot how it works, and I've never like started my own project with gas. I was working on another project that was using it, so but yeah, I'm trying to think of what we could do. Maybe I'll just keep working on this player. There was a request. Where was it? What's going on here? There we go. Yeah, melee combat comes up a lot too. Unfortunately for that, I would need to like create some. My ultimate goal would be to have this be like a project that you could that I could put up as like a public repo that people could check out. But yeah, it's pretty advanced. It's I would even argue it's maybe like too advanced for like a simple project. But yeah, it's the gameplay ability system. If you go to plugins, gameplay abilities, it's pretty in depth, but basically what it does is it creates a system where like everything that happens in your game is like its own, what is it called, they're called something. And yeah, it's like super modular. So like if you were making like a MMO type game or like a, you know, an RPG, and maybe you wanted to have like a stats system where you know, you equip different armor and it will like automatically modify your stats. Basically, you just set up what each of those individual stats does, and then like how it impacts all the other things, and then you could just literally like dump whatever stats you want onto a staff, and then that staff automatically grants like +5 damage, +10 ice damage, resistance to fire, all that crap. Like you just program what you want those things to mean, and then it's just like very modular. It's a really awesome system. If you're gonna make like a even like a medium-sized game, I would say for like a small project, it probably is not really useful. But for like even a medium to large size project, or if you're basically doing any type of RPG, just use gas. It's a little bit complex to learn, which is I think the biggest gripe with it. And there are some things out there, like if you go to let's see here. Oh man. GitHub, why you gotta sign me out, man? You know who I am. Trying to find a public repository. So there's two things you can use as a resource if you want to learn gas. The first one is this. Can you guys see that? Oh, let's do this. Maybe zoom in a little bit. So there's this gas documentation by Tranic. This is not like a officially sanctioned repository. However, it is arguably one of the best resources out there for how gas works. Like, it's insane. It's so in depth. The problem with this is it's actually probably still a little bit over your head unless you're like really understand Unreal Engine and you're pretty good at C++. But you can actually use this. I've actually used this before as like a starting point for a project to use. And so you can like fork this and then start building on it yourself, basically. It's a pretty solid starting point if you want to learn gas. The second option would be the Lyra starter project. So if you go to Marketplace, samples, it's in samples. Lyra starter game here in your Unreal Engine. Yeah, where's that chat? This Lyra starter project also uses gas a lot. Again, pretty advanced. So like if you're new to Unreal Engine, new to C++, probably gonna be a little too advanced for you. Someone even asked me to like make a breakdown video of this. And I realized that like it's almost impossible to break it down to like a beginner level understanding. And even if you try to break it down to like a medium level understanding, if someone has that experience, they probably could do that themselves. There is a pretty good YouTube series on it. I can't remember who it was by, but they break it down like piece by piece. It's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's like the best one out there, but it's decent. And then the third one would be this guy. What's his name? MK Labs. Gas. This one. This guy is this is like a really good starting point for gas. Even like if you're a beginner, I think you could probably understand like most of what's going on here. You still need a little bit of C++, but like he takes a lot of like the legwork out of getting it started. Matter of fact, even if you do know gas, you probably just want to start with this as like a starting point. So this is a good starting point for learning gas as well. Matter of fact, I'm hopefully partnering with this guy to create a gas course. So I'm working on a gas course with another guy I've worked on some projects with. We want to add it to the YouTube channel, and we're going to be using Gas Companion as like the starting point. So we're actually partnering with this guy to use his plugin as like a project files basically. So. But yeah, that's gas. It's a really solid system. Like I said, even like a medium-sized project, I would recommend at least thinking about using it. I would say that unless you're doing like a very basic game, it's probably gonna be useful. But yeah, let's gas course. Yeah. We're working on it. It's a little bit slower. Like anyone who's watched my channel, I do have like a full blueprints course. It's an 8-week course. It's like over 16 hours of videos, pretty in depth, and it's all for free. And yeah, it was a lot of work. It took me like over a year to finish it, way longer than I thought it would be. So the gas course is coming along, but it's definitely, these things take some time, mostly. So what do we want to do today? I think I would like to create like how I would do a melee combat system. The only issue is once I do that, this project will not be shareable. So I think I'll do it without animations, and maybe I can like create some custom animations, but just to like show how it would work, maybe I'll just set it up. So I'm gonna make a blueprint. It's gonna be a character, and we're gonna call this BP enemy, and I'll just throw the dude in there. Character mesh. Danny. So we want to be able to attack this Manny guy, this enemy. So I'm gonna put on the health component we made in the last video. And I also want my character, but I'm sick of having to go over here. So I'm gonna move this to my blueprints folder so that you can just have everything kind of in one place. And I'm gonna rename it BP player character. And what do I want to do on this character? One of the things I don't like about these Unreal Engine based projects is they put all of the put all the inputs on the character blueprint, and I like having them on the player controller. So was there a player controller in there too? No, just the game mode. I'm gonna create a player controller. Right. Because I don't think I have one. Let's make a game mode too while we're in here. And then this is going to be my game mode, and we'll do our class defaults. I'm going to set it to player character for the pawn, and player controller is going to be BP player controller, and I think that's good for now. And let's make sure that we're loading that one. So I'll go to my project settings, maps and modes. And what is it? A third person map. So the game mode I want to have be BP game mode. That should be good. Make sure there's no override. Yep, there always is. So we'll do that. Oh, should I zoom in a little bit? Should make it a little bit easier to see what I'm doing, right? Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I really enjoyed making the course. As much work as it was, I actually learned a lot making it too. You may notice in the first, like if you go from the first videos to week 8, I think I got a little bit better. I also feel like I was a little bit more methodical in the beginning and like maybe took my time. I think towards the end I was starting to rush things. I just wanted to be done with it. So like the quality probably gets better by the end, but like I think I start rushing it a little bit around week 6 or 7 because I was just like, I just wanted to be done with it, to be honest. It was a lot of work, but yeah, I really enjoyed doing it, and the feedback has been awesome. Like, people are so cool on YouTube. It just really, helps to get that positive feedback, and on the Discord, people have been really supportive and helping each other even, which I thought was really cool. Like, people were asking me for the Discord, and I was just like, yeah, whatever, fine, I'll do it. Like, I was like really resistant to it because I just didn't want to like create more than what there needed to be. But the Discord has been really cool, and like honestly, I've been most impressed by like how much people are helping each other on there. Like, a lot of times when I'm at work, people will be talking, and I'm like, I can't really get into it right now, but someone else comes along and they help out. Like, there's a few people in there that maybe even know more than I do that have been like really helping others out. So yeah, and yeah, that's another thing. Like, I don't sit here and say like I know Unreal Engine better than anybody. Like, even yesterday on the stream, a lot of people were like chipping in and helping out and like giving me advice, and I'm not too big to admit when like maybe the way I'm doing something isn't the best. And even like through the Discord, people have found some things that I could have done better. Like, there was something in week 5 that I prototyped, and I'm sitting here thinking like, man, I've made something great. And someone else came along and they're like, I made it better. And I was like, that's awesome, man. I think being able to learn and like understand where your weaknesses is a big part of growth as a person. So we are using IMC for this project, right? Yeah. So I want to find these two, wherever those are. Maybe in controls. I'm gonna take this whole folder and also move it here. All right, now I got my input folder and my actions. I'm gonna make a new action. It's gonna be called basic attack. Yeah, you know, I understand, like, you know, I think if anything, it's just good to like have some people to like interact with. Hey Jay, nice video. Did you watch it? Did you see the awesome system that you made? Sorry, we made it together, but yeah, I took your advice and made that button. I can show it here. I actually kept the old one just for posterity. So I made WBP button, and it has one variable, I think, button number, and we're actually pulling from that, so we can set it independently. Yeah, and then we just pass that in to this interface. So yeah, I like this system. It's much cleaner. I agree. So, and it allows like more. I was even thinking about it like as I was making that video. I was like, someone could even have like a whole like keyboard if you wanted, and you could, you know, have to type it in. So yeah, and if you wanted to, like, if you wanted to like make it a little bit more immersive, even you could like allow it to track the key presses on the keyboard, so someone could actually type in passwords. I did that. That's actually pretty easy. You can just use like I think there's one called like input, a widget component, and you could just take the input from the keyboard. So that'd be fun too. But I like the keypad we made. I think it's really cool. Yeah, here's that one. So they all say 1 because we're pulling that variable in when we create it. And then, yeah, I think it's much better, much cleaner. But yeah, so what I'm gonna try to do today is just create like a basic melee system. There's not gonna be any animations because at one point I wanna be able to share this project, like make it a public repo that people could use as a reference. Actually, like when I made this interact system here, I made a video for that, and in an effort to like keep the video short, I like didn't really show how I made it. I kind of showed like how the aftermath. There's been a lot of people who've been like, man, I wish you would have showed how you made it, because like you kind of go a little bit too fast for me. So I would actually love to be able to share this whole project like on my GitHub. And in order to do that, that means I can't bring in any third-party assets. I can make the animations myself, which maybe I'll do using the like built-in animation system. I did that for another project. But yeah. Set text. Oh yeah, you could put it on the construct, yeah. Where is it? I think I closed it already. It does it at runtime. Like if I, yeah, see, it pulls it up. But there's always ways to make it better, right? There's always a little improvements. I'm all about the 90% though, you know? Get it to 90%, it's good enough. Then let a real programmer fix it. I'm really good at getting to 90%, but that last 10% kills me. It's like I struggle. I'm just not like that. I just don't have the personality to like dig into details. I remember when I was like a teenager, being my best friend, we started learning how to play guitar together. And the thing was, like, I got better than him way faster. Like, it was very clear that I was like a better guitarist within like 6 months. But he was like this person that would just keep trying to do things over and over again, and he would get like so stuck on the details, and I'd be like, who cares, man, it sounds good enough, let's learn another song. But like within 2 years he was like exponentially better than me, like not even a comparison. It was crazy. So yeah, I'm just not good at that last 10%. What do we want to do here? I want to get that attack, basic attack. Now, like, there's some, I've seen a lot of different ways that people like to do melee combat. So one way that you could do it that I've actually seen, it was pretty interesting, was like, let's make a little sword. Come on, man. I guess it's more of a club. It's a lead pipe, that's what it is. We're gonna hit him with a lead pipe. Look at that, even this one works. Let's see if there's a better metal. A copper pipe. A rusty steel lead pipe. Look at that. I guess let's call this lead pipe instead. BP. Come on. BP pipe. Move that set text. Yeah, I think it's probably better to do on I think you already said that, right? I think I already read that, is what I meant. Let's take this character. Wanna I guess because we made it a blueprint, it needs to be a child actor, right? Main hand weapon. Pipe. Where is it? What am I looking for? Pause items. It's so hard to like move something when the character's moving around. I just always try to do it this way. That's kind of a big pipe. It would hurt a little bit. I always forget to do that. All right, so if you do this, there's two things you got to check. First, make sure to turn your animations back on. But second, in your actor, like this thing needs to have the collision not as blocking, because that's why the character is like moving all wonky like this now. So here, I need to set this collision to, I'm gonna set it to no collision, but we might change that depending on how I decide to do this. There we go. Now I'm walking around with this pipe. Look at that, going right through my head. That looks like it hurts. All right. So how I've seen it though, what I was trying to say is I've seen it where people will use like the collision of this pipe, and like as the attack is going, you turn the collision on, and then anything it interacts with, you would call like applied damage or whatever. I've even seen someone where they do they'll have like a point, like if we do scene component down at the base of the weapon, and then this one would be called like start, and this one would be called like end. And this one's maybe up here. And you draw like a line trace between the starting point and the ending point, and anything that interacts with that line gets damaged. And that way you can have a little bit of like flexibility about how each weapon's blade or damage area is. Like if you had a big mace or something, right? Like maybe you want that mace end, that big ball end, to do like more damage or something. I don't know. You can do a lot of flexibility. All that crap for a simple game, way too complex, in my opinion. I think, like, for what I want to do today, what I want to do is just like a very, very simple implementation of melee, and that is that we're going to spawn like a little collision in front of the player. So they're going to do their melee swipe, and then we're going to check anything that's in that collision area gets damaged, and then we turn it off or we destroy it or whatever. So let's try to do that. Let's see if we can knock that out. All right. So what's the first thing we want to do? All right, first thing, am I overcomplicating this by trying to put this on the player controller? I guess I'm just stubborn. I do want to set a reference to my player character though. This will just be a character, right? Yeah. Actually, I don't think I want to use the mesh. I think I want to use the root, the capsule. And then what is it called? Spawn or spawn? What's it called? Line. Here we go. So this sphere trace is going to create like a sphere in the world that we can use to check the collision. And we want to get world location. I think this will be the entry point. Get forward vector. Try 500 to start. I don't know if that's enough. Oh, we need to bind this key to something, right? Let's use E for now. Oh, we already used E, right? Interact, yeah. Let's use F. I'll just use the left mouse button. Is way too much. One, 200. Also, we want this on started for now. Even that's too far. Let's try 100, I guess. Sure. Also need this to be a little bit bigger. Let's try 25. Oh, you know what? This is not what I want. This. Is it like that? Or do I just not need an endpoint? I guess I do need an endpoint. Let's see what happens when I do this. There we go. Little balls. Maybe. Yeah, that looks like about an area you would hit someone, right? So anything that's in that sphere is going to get damaged when I call this, right? So there I wouldn't have hit him. Get his little butt. Why isn't it triggering when I hit that character though? It's only the walls. That it did for this one. Why is there also 2? Anyway, let's break this. And I want to see. is valid. I think this is what I want. My health component, I just need something so I can see that I got hit. Is dead? No, back here. I just want to do this for now. It's not working. What? Why is that returning? Like, that's the whole point of is valid. Does this not work? Does this not do what I want it to do? Should I just cast? So this is this is a situation where casting is probably not a good idea. And the reason is even if there is not an enemy in the world, so we could be in a level with 0 enemies, and we're still going to load this enemy into memory. At least that's my understanding of it. Because now on my player character, player controller, BP enemy is now tied to my player controller, which means we could have 0 enemies in the world and we're still going to load this in. So this is an area, this is like a situation where you do not want to cast. But we're going to do it anyway. Because we just want to get this to work. And it's not. It might be this channel. Collision channel pawn. What is pawn though? So we need camera. Now it should work. Yep. Dead. So that works. There you go, simple melee system. I would actually like to figure out a way to do this without casting the enemy though, but for some reason that was not working. Maybe I actually just no. Maybe this will work now that I figured out that other problem. That works. I'm still getting this error though. We were getting this yesterday too, and I think it has something to do with this macro. Like, I don't think we can do this basically. Like, this is probably going to return the same error. Yeah. Hit actor, apply damage. Yeah, but we don't want to. I'm trying not to use that apply damage. I want to have everything contained to the health component. And we have a take damage here. I mean, I think that's probably fine. Maybe we just do that. Because what I didn't want, like now in this, I would need this, right? Which we already have because we set it up yesterday when we were trying to explain why I didn't want to do this. But I would also now need to put that on enemy and then any other class that I want to take damage. And then we basically have like extra functionality that, like, we don't need this event because we could just apply this function directly in the health component. But maybe I'm just making it too hard. Maybe I'm overcomplicating things. But essentially what I wanted is that anything that has a health component can just take damage, and then we don't need to do this. But I think maybe we're stuck because this isn't working. Like, it is working, but this is valid macro can't actually, like, if we do this is valid and we take this one, right? This will probably still give us that same error. Accessed. None. I guess we could do equals or not equal to none. Let's see if this works. Access none. That's the whole point. Am I just making it too hard on myself? Yeah, if you watch my course, we do a lot of this already. I'm just trying to do something different with the melee. Like, I've done shooters a lot, and essentially with the shooter you do almost the same thing. Like, it's pretty close, but like, I could show you how to set it up as a shooter. You would do well, essentially you do this, right? But instead of this, we want line trace by channel instead of sphere trace by channel. And your start point is your world location, and your end point is this. But this then becomes your weapon range. And yeah, also something else. This should be camera. So player character has to be, yeah, because the camera is not part of the root class. We add that. Could I do like get viewport? What is that called? Get player view. I think we want this project. Transforms the given 2D screen space coordinate to a 3D world space. So you do like this. Oh, I guess this is already there, right? Anyway. Pizza. All right, see you later, Jay White. Pizza, huh? It's like almost lunchtime here. Anyway, I'm getting off track. But essentially, we would do this a little bit different if it was a shooter, but we want to use line trace because essentially what this does is it takes a, I'll show you. Instead of like a sphere, it's just going to create a line. No, that didn't work. And you use that to like get the trajectory of the bullet, essentially. And then, the point I was making is like, it's using a system like this, it'd be pretty similar to a shooter. We're just, instead of trying to figure out the path of a bullet, we're just creating like a sphere in front of the player where they could hit something. Right. And again, this is maybe not like, this is just one implementation. There's always a million ways to do something, but like for a very simple game, like if you just wanted melee, this will work. I just don't know why that's... Maybe this. I think this will still throw the error, but oh, it didn't. No errors. We did it. All right. Anyway. 1 second here. I'm going to mute. What is wrong with me? All right. I swear I clicked the unmute that time and then it didn't mute. Does that mean that I was on mute? Yeah. Anyway. Maybe I wasn't on mute. All right. Here we are. We're not on mute though, right? You can hear me? All right. Creating a firefighter simulation game for my final project. Or line tracing for the fire hose. Yeah. It's pretty straightforward, right? You just take a starting point. In this case, we just want to create like a static sphere, but we could do this, which is what we had at the beginning. It's going to create like that thing. Also, I'm not really sure where that second sphere is coming from, but I'm doing damage to myself, so that's good. Hey, Pixel. But yeah, we don't want that. We want this. We want this. So it's just creating one sphere. And essentially, like, if we did have an animation, I could make a quick animation, I guess, so it's not like terrible. Because otherwise it's not really, you don't really understand what I'm doing, I guess. Let's make an animation real quick. It's gonna take me a second to remember how to do it though. I'll just search rig. So in the starter project, this is a third-person starter project. You can find this body. It's specifically the one that has all these weird shapes on it. That's like part of the rig. Whoa. And we can actually like use this to create animation assets. And how you do this is, let's first of all, let's define how long we want our animation to be. So I'll drag this line. I don't know, how long does it take someone to swing a sword? Let's call it 2 seconds. We can always fix it if it doesn't look right. 60 frames. And I'm gonna, like, wherever this thing is, this is where I, like, what frame I'm currently on. So I'm gonna hit this little plus. I'm gonna take whatever everything is, that's the starting point. And then let's say at 15 frames, we want to create another one of those, but we want to move this character in a way. So let's, actually, let's go back a little bit. Let's go to 10. And I want this right hand. Be like that, right? Sure. I'm not the best animator, but we're gonna make it work. Now I want to hit this little plus sign again, and now look. Oh, that was the wrong one. Well, I hit the plus sign for the one bone, but I wanted it for all of them. So. Now we'll plus it for all of them. So now he's going to raise his hand. And then let's say here. Looking a little wonky. Good enough. And then we can take this. I just want to return to normal. Look at that. Yeah, this is you can use. All right, so now here's the cool part. So now I right click. Oh god, how is it? Bake animation sequence. All right, now where was that? Oh god, I lost it. Character animations. Look at that. Now I have an anim sequence. So I can make a montage. Get mesh. Play montage. See if this works. Oh my God. All right, it works. You can't argue with me that it doesn't work. Got him. Let's just play a little bit faster, maybe. That maybe. Oh my God. Yeah, there we go. Got him. Come here. Let me get you. Gotcha. I'm hitting you. Ooh. Killed him. We did it. Oh my God. Oh, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. But it works. It works, right? We could even like now, like one thing that I don't like about it, like if I'm moving and doing it, look at the legs stop. So you could on your on my anim graph. Manny. Default slot. What's it called? The old 2-second lead pipe swing. I'm not an animator. I think I said that at the very beginning, right? I'm not good at animating. What's it called? Cache. One of the problems that you'll get to at some point is this one's going to be called upper. Oh. I think they already had it. Do I not need that? But I do need a blend by bone, right? I can't remember how to do this. I always have to remind myself how to do this because I always forget. Or I just open up a project where I've already done it before. Spine 01. It might be opposite though. Yeah. So I need to swap these. now I can like attack, but it doesn't affect the lower half. Give him the old pipe slap right in the noggin. Ooh, ooh, got him. So yeah, now the animation. Now whenever I play a montage, it's not going to play on the lower half, which means I can still like run around. I mean, it looks wonky, but that's because the animation I'm using is terrible. If I have an actual like good animation, it wouldn't look so bad. So there we go. We have a pipe slap melee ability. So we could also create like a similar system on our enemy. If we wanted to, we could have them, you know, we could create an attack using like an AI system. If you want to use behavior trees or something, and they would essentially like do this exact same thing. So you could even like save this. Functionality or something. That pipe slap is pretty killer though, right? Let's see if we can slow it down a little bit. Oh, play rate. The most gingerly slap in the world. All right, let's do something fun. What's something fun we could do? You know what? Something else we could do is create like an item swapping component. Because like this is, let's make another weapon. Let's swap weapons. Think we can actually make a sword? It'd be easier just to actually use some things, but again, I'm trying to make this like something I could share with people at some point. So 0.04, 0.02. Ah, there we go. Let's add another mesh, and this one we're gonna make this in the most lame way possible. Let's do a cube. Look at that. We're getting there. What's this thing called? It's not the hill. Yeah, that's good. My wife just went to lunch with her sister, so just chilling and streaming. Let's see, what else do I want to do? This is gonna, what do you call that? The parts of a sword. Let's Google it. Guard. Cross. Guard. Let's duplicate that. This one's gonna be the blade. Blad. Yeah, I think the problem with books is the technology changes too quickly. Like, it's so hard to put your knowledge into a book that's not going to be obsolete in like a week. That is an ugly sword, but it's a sword nonetheless, right? All right, let's make this shiny chrome. This can be, is there leather? Wood. Look at that. Oak. A nice oak handle. This can be steel. Burnished steel. Let's see how it looks in the world. Yeah, I mean, sometimes a book is a good place to like get a foundational knowledge, right? I'm not trying to sit here and say don't read books. Taking this way too seriously now. a sword. Yeah. Oh, so you're coming from Unity. So so this is easy for you. No, I actually love Unity. My original intent, if you go back and watch the first lesson of the course, was to make the next section about Unity, but then Unity started acting all weird, pissing people off. So people basically told me if I made a Unity course, they wouldn't watch it. My problem with YouTube is that when you're a beginner, you don't really have a frame of reference. This is true for any skill, not just Unreal Engine. You don't have a good frame of reference. So when someone is giving you advice, you don't know how to determine whether that's good advice or bad advice. And so you just hope that they're giving you good advice, but you may just be learning like really bad practices. And with Unreal Engine, just like with anything you're finding on YouTube, there's a lot of people out there that are just trying to get clicks, and they're just creating content, and not all of them give the best advice. So it's really hard when you're first learning. That's why, like, for me, I just think it's important to oh, I forgot to no collision. That's why, like, a big part of me making my course was like just to try to give like really solid advice. To do that, it took a lot of research. Like I spent almost a year, probably closer to 6 months, but maybe like 7 or 8 months before I ever recorded the first lesson. Just doing tons of research, taking notes. I wrote out all of the course content like in full for the first 5 or 6 weeks before I ever recorded the first lesson. Because I just wanted to make sure like whatever advice I was giving, like it was good advice that people like could actually learn what they needed. I don't think a lot of people put that much effort into it. I think a lot of people are just like, hey, I want people to watch my content, so I'm gonna make some clickbait video and hope everyone watches. Yeah, and I appreciate that question. So the question is, are there any courses you would recommend? So another thing is, like, people have asked me pretty consistently, like, well, who are the bad ones? And I don't want to be like name calling or saying like don't watch certain people. There actually are a few content creators that do like belittle people, and like for me, I would hate if someone was doing that to my videos. I'd be like, dude, what the hell, man? Like, that sucks. So I don't typically tell people who not to watch. If you ask me on a DM, I might do that, but I'm not gonna like publicly put it out there because that just sucks, right? But there are some people that I would recommend in addition to myself. Obviously, I think my content is really good for beginners. But if you get to the end of my course and you're looking for more, or maybe like my course isn't quite what you're looking for, there are a few people that I recommend. Actually, let's put this in a slide. I'm gonna get all fancy. I've put this on my Discord quite a bit too. It gets like pinned in one of the chats. What is this music? All right. Can't wait to go through the rest of your course. Probably watch it. Yeah, that's another thing that I tell people. Like, people ask me like, what's the best way to learn this stuff? A lot of people like will be like, all right, I'm gonna watch a little bit of the tutorial and I'm gonna try to do it, and I'm gonna watch a little bit. I recommend like watching a whole video and then see how much you can do from memory, and at the beginning it's gonna be basically nothing. But if you practice that over time, like, you'll get in the habit of like absorbing what you need from the video and then applying that. If you just like follow along or try to follow along, you're not really absorbing it. You're not giving your brain a chance to like focus on what's being said. You're just like stressing yourself out. Like, all right, so they made this node. All right, I got to make that node. All right, and then they connected these things. All right, now I got to connect those things. And I found when I try to do it that way, it's actually more stressful. So what I'll do is, like, I'm trying to do some React code right now for another project, and I don't know React basically at all, like not that well, if at all. And so what I'm trying to really force myself to do is like watch the video in full and then try to go back and do it. And maybe I can do that for like 30-40% of the stuff, but like as I do that, I've been getting better at it, and I've had to revert back to the video less, and you actually absorb things a little bit faster that way, I think. But yeah, content creators, I recommend. This one is controversial. A lot of people don't like this guy. I love this guy. I watch almost all of his videos. He's pretty chill. He does like a vast variety of things. He's some people I think have a problem like understanding what he's saying, because he does have like a very thick Southeast Asian accent, but I think his content is really, really good. The thing I love the most about him, well, two things: very diverse information that he puts out. So there's just like a ton of random stuff on his channel. A lot of times if I'm trying to like do something and I don't know how to do it, I'll go see if he has a video on it, because most likely he does. And the reason why I do that with him, because there's a lot of people that do that, is he like does everything in real time, and he doesn't really edit his videos, so you get to like see his thought process. You get to see like how he works through problems. And I think as a beginner, that's like really, really good, because you're trying to develop those same patterns. You're trying to develop kind of that same thought process of like, how do I look at a problem and break it down into pieces so that I can solve it. So he's one that I usually recommend. Another one is Ryan Laley. I think that's how it is, right? This guy is probably one of the only YouTube creators that I think doesn't succumb to the clickbaitness. I'm not going to say like he doesn't do that at all, but I would say like most of the content he puts out is really, really good. Like pretty solid advice. He seems like a really cool guy. And I've watched a lot of his videos, and very rarely do I disagree with the way he would do something. Like even things I'm like, I already know how to do this, but I want to see how he would do it. And most of the time I'm like, okay, so he does it pretty much exactly the same way I would do it. Or maybe even better. Maybe I learned something from him in some cases even. So he's a really good one. This one is, I'm going to put his actual name. And the reason I put his name is because his YouTube channel is Druid Mechanics. He does have some good stuff on YouTube, but if you're going to pay for a course, if you're going to take money out of your account and put it into someone else's account, these are the best courses out there, in my opinion. My first mentor who I was talking, man, is the music loud for everyone else, or is it just me? Turn it down a little smidge. Like feel like an old man right now. Turn down that racket. My mentor who recommended it, Steven, to me originally, basically put it this way. Everyone else is a game designer or a game developer teaching you programming. Stephen Ulibarri is a programmer teaching you game development. Like, he is a real deal software engineer, like probably understands Unreal Engine better than most people, and it shows in his lessons. Like, he knows what he's doing. My one gripe with Stephen, not gripe, I guess, my word of advice, if you're going to watch if you're going to pay for one of his courses, they're very, very, very in depth. Like, so in depth that, like, I think a lot of people just like never really make it through his courses. Like, his courses are like 80 hours. Like, it's insane how long his courses are and how much effort and energy he puts into it. And he gets like very, very into the details. So if you're not a details person, he's probably not going to be a good fit for you. If you love the details, you want to like understand every little detail about things, like, you will learn more from Steven than anyone, in my opinion. Also, like, once you've seen one of his courses, there's a lot of redundancy between the courses. So like, if you watch, for instance, he has like a blueprints course, and then if you watch his C++ course, there's a lot of overlap. So like, you're gonna like, there's a lot of repetition. Even like if you watch his C++ course and then you watch his gas course, lots of repetition. You're gonna be doing a lot of the same stuff. And like, that can be a little bit annoying for me personally, because it's like, you've already showed us how to do this in your other courses. He tries to make them all like standalone courses instead of like building upon each other. So you just spend a lot of time like doing the same stuff. Tom Lumen is not Lom. Tom Lumen is another really, really, really good instructor. He has Udemy courses, he has YouTube content, and he has a website where he has like written tutorials, which I think a lot of people, I think there's like not enough of them, to be honest. One of the problems with videos is like, let's say like I had a video where I wanted to learn how to do the animation stuff that I just did to make this lame ass pipe slap, right? And I was like, hey, I can't remember how to do that. How did I do that? And I find the video. Well, now it's just I gotta go find that video. I gotta watch the whole video again, right? And sometimes I think if you had like a written tutorial, it helps streamline some of that. So Tom's website is a great place for like the written tutorials. I could probably write a few more, but like more specifically, like I will even write specifically AI. Like, Ryan's AI videos are probably some of the best that I've found, specifically behavior trees. If I was going to learn behavior trees and I want to learn more about AI, Ryan's channel is probably the first place I'd go. There's another dude that's been making them, pretty good ones actually, but I haven't watched enough of those to put my stamp of approval on it. I can't sit here and say like with 100% certainty that I would recommend every one of his videos. I said this yesterday. This guy is another one for VFX. If you want to learn like how the Niagara particle system works, really, really good tutorials. Similar to Code Like Me, the accent's a little strong for some people, I think. But I mean, I don't have a problem with it personally. I've learned a ton from him. My one critique of this person would be they don't really go into this is like, it's literally a how. Let's write that. How, not why. you are going to learn how to make VFX. But if you want to learn like how Niagara works and like the inner workings of it, you won't learn that from his. And he even has like paid courses. Even with the paid courses, I found this, like, he just really doesn't go that in depth about like why you're doing something, like how to choose one thing over another. They're pretty much like, follow along and you can make this thing. And if you do that enough times, you'll eventually start to see the patterns, and you'll start to like, oh, I know how to do this. Like, I could do this on my own. It just takes a little bit longer to get there if you're learning the how and not the why. So if you're trying to learn VFX, this is probably the best one out there that I've found. But it's just, there's no why. There's no why. So I just spent part of my stream talking about other content creators. All right, let's look at some comments. Code like me. I can understand them. I don't know, but I've heard, like, a lot of people, when I recommend them, they're like, "Oh, I hate that guy. I can't stand him." And I'm like, "All right, dude, that's not cool." But yeah, there's AI subtitles now, right? Yeah. Sorry, yeah. Guessing. Yeah, so I would say like really try to master blueprints before you try to move to C++, especially if you're not like a software engineer that's really good at programming. C++ is a heavy lift. And you said you came from Unity. Like, C# is a pretty easy programming language to learn. You can learn it. I mean, it's not as easy as maybe Python or JavaScript, but it's still pretty easy. It's very like intuitive. It's human readable. C++ is a pain in the ass. So yeah, Gorka and Matt Asplund. I personally do not. I would not put those people on this list. My personal opinion. And I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm not gonna say that they're bad. I just personally would not recommend them. But they have lots of good stuff. Just not gonna make my list. Just as I probably won't make their list. You know, it's nothing personal. All right. What were we doing? I can't remember. I got an hour left. I think we were gonna try to make it so I could swap weapons, which is why we made 2 weapons. I want to make this have interactable. We already have that. Interface. For now, let's just print my name. Oh, there's no collision. Well, that's an oversight, huh? Maybe we need like a just a little capsule. Why won't you let me move you? really tried not to say anything bad about other people. Where's my pipe? Pipe is the same. Weapon, sword. And then this, where we want to be on weapon. Overlap. Oh. Let's see if this will work now. Oh, is it only collision? Visibility. But that should work. See? Oh, is it because it's on the blocking channel? Yeah. Do I need to do this? No, now I broke it. Maybe I need to, oh. This is gonna break my character, but let's take it out of his hand. We'll have to swap the collision after we pick it up. There we go. Pipe. Sword. Weapon. Alright. So if we're gonna do that, then part of the picking up the weapon does actually need to be turning off the collision. Emergency pizza run. Yeah. Man. I need some pizza right now in my life. Alright, so what do we want to do? I think we want to have the character handle picking up the weapon, right? We don't want the weapon to handle getting into the character's hand. We want the character to like pick up the weapon. So we should put all of this functionality on the character. So let's make it an event. We'll call this pick up weapon. I guess it could be pick up item, but we're just making a throwaway project, so. And we want this to have an input of weapon. Because we want to pass in whatever that weapon is that we're trying to pick up. And then on here, we can cast to the player character because, again, player character is always going to be in the world, so this doesn't cost us any resources. And then we want to call pick up weapon, and we'll pass in ourself. Now we can do everything else through the character. So the first thing we want to do is we want to set child actor class, get Actually, the very first thing I want to do is disable the collision. Collision. Set collision enabled. Capsule. No collision. All right, we picked it up. We did not disable the collision. Why didn't that work? All right. I'm annoyed. Oh, because I think I actually need to do that here. I think it's, yeah, this is why I did it backwards. I did technically do what I wanted, I just did it on the wrong thing. And I don't want to do, I want to get caps. Oh man. I need to do it on the one in my hand, not this one. Get component. I'm wondering if maybe I just can't do this. At least not the way I'm trying to. Because this is an actor. What do we got here? know I've done this before. I just can't remember what I did. What is this? No. Oh, I think this is not what I want. Socket. Attach. Child. I think this is how I did it. Child. What was that called? Add child actor component. Why does it, what? Maybe. Add child actor. I would need to add a child. I need to add. All right, I did another project. This is where I always resort to. What was the project I did it in? Was it this one? Oh, you know, I just did it in I just did it in that invasion game. How did I do it there? I don't want that one. I want this one. I was like, I know I just did this not too long ago. It was in that invasion game. This one I don't want. This one I do want. This is part of my course. I can't even remember my own lessons. What? We did it in this game that we made as part of the course. It was in week 8. Player character. Open, man. All right. So it's in the inventory component. Yeah, so I do stream maybe once or twice a week, depending on what my schedule is. Right now, I have some time off at work, so I'll be streaming probably next Friday around the same time. So like kind of mid afternoonish, or like late morning, mid afternoon. All right, but yeah. But I don't stream. I mean, I've been streaming more just because it's better for my time schedule. But whenever I'm streaming, I'm not working on other things. Like I'm just trying to like keep people entertained, and as entertaining as it is, watching me. Yeah. No, I got stuck. It's like one of those things where you know how to do something, but like you just haven't done it in a while, so you kind of forget. But yeah. Pickup item. I want equip item. Oh, that's how. I'm not even using, I don't even use this. Yeah, my day job is I'm taking like Fridays off for a little bit, and using that time to create some content, work on some streams. I'm also working on some other side projects, so it's not I might not be streaming like the whole day, but I might stream for a couple hours. But yeah, if there's things that you want to see, like actually what I want to do with these streams is like, because I can't really like get real work done because it's just hard to focus. But I'd love the streams to be like things that the people, like the community wants to see, and if you let me know ahead of time, I can do the research and come prepared and not just like wing it like I'm trying to do right now. But yeah, if you want to do that, you could check out the. So how I do this is I'm going to put a variable here, and it's going to be called equipped weapon. I don't want this. This is going to be of type weapon. Then how did I do it in this one? Is that what it is? Hand underscore R. Yeah. See if this works. Yeah. That stupid collision, man. It's so annoying. But that actually solved kind of two birds with one stone, I guess. Gotta go. Yep. If you're already gone, appreciate your time. By next month. Yeah. Definitely keep plugging away, man. The best way to learn is just to be consistent. Little bite-sized pieces over time. You can't absorb this all in a day. Can't absorb it in a week. Can't absorb it in a year. There's so much to learn. It's such a huge process of learning this. Weapon cylinder. No, it's called capsule. Get capsule. All the weapons should have a capsule. This is what I want, not that. I mean, I've been doing this for almost 5 years now, and it's still I'm still learning things every single day. Get them. Get them. Yeah. I think if like I could give advice is like learn a little bit every week or every day, whatever time you have. Like 20% of your time should be just learning, and that should continue regardless. There should never be a time in anything, if you're trying to like get good at something, you're trying to make something into a career or, you know, a hobby, like it's one thing to be doing, but you should also be constantly learning. Like 20% of your time should be just learning. Always. So just, that's like the best advice I can give. Learn a little bit, apply it, learn a little bit, apply it. So now we got this melee system working. We can pick up a weapon. What was the other thing I wanted to do with this though? Oh, like the attack this is why people put everything on one blueprint. Yeah, so I was trying not to cast here, but I think it's probably just best if I cast. Because I want this to be type player character. Because I really want to be able to get access to like that equipped weapon. And the reason is, what is all this mess? Got too many things going on here. I don't want to attack. I don't want to be able to attack if I don't have something in my hand. So now I can't attack. Go pick up a weapon, and now I can attack with my little sword slap. Also, why aren't you in my hand? Every time I close this, I end up needing to reopen it. Right hand is in the wrong spot. What the heck? Add socket. I can carry all the weapons. I have all of them. Fear me. That's what I want. That's ridiculous. I love it. Ooh, what happened to that other one? My sword just disappeared. Keep world. Keep world. Keep world. All right, I want to. That should like fall to the ground, right? Weird. Hey, how's it going, Keys? Welcome to the funnest party around. I'm doing something I've done this in like other capacities, but I'm trying to get a little bit different this time. Wonder, so I can pick it up, right? It's just like floating there. Collision is enablers incompatible. Just floating. Nice. Hey, 20's better than nothing. The thing is, like, also if you really want to know how your game's gonna work, I recommend doing a build. Like, go here and package it. You'd be surprised how much different it is when you have it in the editor. You could also do it by doing this standalone game, because then it's working like in its own processes. As long as you're doing like this one or this one, even this one, I think. But if you do standalone game, it like packages the project. You get a little bit better understanding. Like if I do stat FPS, I'm at like 50 right now, 40, between 40 and 50. This is gonna take a while. I don't want to do this. It takes a long time because you're basically like building the game. Whoa. I don't know. It's giant. Yeah. But just try doing a build. I don't know what you guys saw. That must have been, it was weird on my end. I have like 3 screens that took up 2 full screens and I could barely see my character. But yeah, just do a package, but do it as a debug or development. Then you can get a little bit better understanding of where your actual frame rate is. Eventually, like all of this should be on the enable gravity. Like why are these just like chilling though? You know. Oh, don't want that. Yeah, I think Unreal Engine, like Unity is definitely better at making like mobile games. Maybe I need it on here. There we go. Oh my god. Ooh, look at that. Tell me that wasn't cool. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've actually made more 3D games in Unity than 2D games. I think Unity is, it's a good engine. I have no beef with Unity other than the way their executives are running the company. That spinning sword thing was pretty sweet, huh? But I don't know why. I think it's I think I want this. Yeah. It's a little wonky. Oh, that spinning sword thing I made is pretty cool though. I might clip that and make it. All right. Give me a I think Unity is really good at making mobile games and good at making 2D games. It's also good at making 3D games. It's just I actually love the what do you call it? Prefab system. Man, that's so many things I wish that Blueprints could do. I basically have like had to like see, why am I getting this? But incompatible. Is it this one that's throwing that error? Yeah. No. Sword weapon. Oh, maybe I need to disable. That's what it is. There we go. Got it. Yeah, I remember there being like some weird stuff that I read about dots, about how Unity invested all this energy into it and then they just like abandoned it. And people were like pissed because they're like, dude. But I don't know enough to speak about it intelligently. I could be totally off.
Oh yes, the sleeping pills.
Looks a little better. Cool. All right, now we can swap weapons. And then we could even have on the weapon a variable called damage. like on this weapon, it could be the base damage is 10, right? So all of them are going to do 10, but then we want our sword to do a little bit more, right? Because it's a sword, it's not just a lead pipe. So we'll set that to 20. Alright, so here, hit our dude, he goes to 80, and then we swap to this, he goes to 70, right? Because this one's only doing 10. This one does 20. So yeah. Hey. It's good, it's good, it's good. Good to see you here, man. Right as we're about to wrap up. But hey, it is what it is, right? We're all enjoying our Saturday. Actually, I might go a little bit past 1. I might just need to go get a snack. I'm gonna go till 1:30. I'll go to 1:30, but I'm gonna go take a 5-minute break. How's that sound? Just as you got here. 5 minutes. I'll be right back.
Civil defense officials in Cumberland have told newsmen that murder victims showed evidence.
What was that? All right. Interesting. All right. What's the problem with Unreal Engine? Yeah. I don't know. Is it a hardware issue? I definitely will not argue against Unity being more lightweight, which is why I think it makes it better for mobile games. But all right. What do we want to do? What do we want to do? We got. So what I've been working on, what did I make? What did we make? I think we just made a melee system, basically. None of these are work. Oh, you know what? I think I'm gonna have a problem now. These are all gonna look weird. That one looks good. That one he's holding in the middle. But the sword doesn't look weird. Need some tweaking. So we made this. Yeah. My PC isn't crazy. Matter of fact, my laptop kind of sucks, and it does fine with Unreal Engine. But so what did we do today? We made a melee system from scratch. You can see my fancy sword made using only primitives. We made this animation. Look at that. We made that though. I made those on Canva. Canva's really cool. Yeah. I have like a, didn't want to do that. Yeah, I use Canva for like everything. Once I figured out what it could do, I was like, damn, I'm never paying for Photoshop ever. If I can't do something in Canva, sometimes I'll use Krita, just as like if I'm trying to throw stuff together. But ever since I started using Canva, I just use that for all my graphics. So yeah, we made this melee system, and I made the animation just to like demonstrate that you can make animations like directly in Engine now using this. Where'd all my bones go? So if you go to, if you get the third person like default project, it's probably the same with the first person too for the arms. It's in here somewhere, but if you type rig, you'll get this. So what's the path? Characters, mannequins, rigs. So you want this one specifically, the control rig. You can actually create these from any rig. So if you have like your own rig and you want to do animations in Unreal Engine, it's just a little bit of work because you have to set up the bone hierarchy again. So if you're doing animations in another project, like you can see here, there's quite a bit going on. I think this is all the IK stuff though. But yeah, you have to set up all the hierarchy of your rig in Unreal Engine. But yeah, you could do that. And then we were able to create, like you can pull this in here. And you can create custom animations like directly in Unreal Engine. And I'm not an animator, but I just wanted to prove that we could do it. So I made this. It was supposed to be an attack animation. Actually, let's show it at real time. I sped it up because it looked so bad. Where is it? Watch this. This is how good of an animator I am. We're gonna pick up this sword. We're gonna hit this dude right in the jaw. Get him. Get him. But made in Unreal Engine. Yeah, it's fun. Honestly, I use this. So in the course that I'm working on, which is like blueprints to C++, bridging that gap between the two of them. I'm creating two projects. Well, we will create two projects in that course. The first one is an endless runner. And I want both of these to be like where I could distribute the project files to people. So I'm trying not to use any third-party assets. And I needed some animations to like jump between lanes and like do a little slide. Like if you're ducking underneath something, like sliding underneath it. But so I made the animations and they look really bad, but they're free. And the point isn't to have like, it's just to create some basic projects that people could use to like work on. But I'm trying not to use any third-party assets. Better watch out. I'm coming for you with my giant lead pipe. So yeah, that's why we changed it. It looks a little bit better when it's sped up. But it still looks ridiculous, right? Yeah. Graphics are overrated. I mean, you want it to look at least somewhat good, but if you have a fun game that looks like shit, people are still going to play it. If you have a game that looks awesome, but it's not fun, no one's going to play it. Fun first. Matter of fact, like this guy, he's like a very good game designer that I've worked with on a few projects. The thing that he always says is find the fun. Once you find the fun, the rest is easy. But you got to make a fun game first. A lot of people that I've like contracted for, so I used to do a lot of like before I was doing YouTube, I was doing a lot of like side gigs and stuff. And people would come to me and they'd be like, I got a great idea for a game. And I'd be like, yeah, that's cool. Let's hear about it. And then they would tell me, I'd be like, dude, this game just doesn't sound that much fun. Like, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but like, I think we need to like go back to the drawing board a little bit. And sometimes they would listen and sometimes they wouldn't. And usually when they wouldn't, I would make the game anyway, just to, you know, help them. And then they would realize that I was right, that it's just not that fun. $13, so you're on the right track, man. I didn't start learning this until I was 35 or 36. You got a whole life ahead of you to learn stuff. I think I do remember you now. Now you said that. Were you the one that was going to try to write your own game engine? Might be a different person. If I'd started learning this when I was 13, I'd be a billionaire by now. I would have made the best games. People would have been like, how does this guy make such good games? But as you get older, you have less time. Like now I'm, you know, got my day job, got family, got a house to take care of. Time is the most valuable resource, so I think anyone that's into their 30s or 40s would agree with me. But when you're young, you got nothing but time. Yeah, that game was I think that guy's still working on the game, but I think it was mainly just supposed to be like a portfolio piece, and then everyone was like, "Oh man, look at this game." It was all over Reddit and YouTube for a while. Oh, okay. Yeah, that wasn't as long ago. Yeah, nice. There's a lot of things you can do to optimize. Quit all jobs. Yeah, man. I don't think my wife would be too happy about that. But my goal eventually is to run my own business. I'm working on it, slowly but surely. But when you're older, man, you got responsibilities. Like it's not so easy. That's why I tell people, like, when you're young, just focus on getting where you want to get. Like if I quit my job right now, my family and I would probably be homeless within 6 months. So what kind of guitar did you get? Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard your band's music either, unless you shared it. You should share it on the Discord. I could even play it on the stream, and all 8 people watching would be able to hear your band. Yeah, you don't want to end up in jail, man. I hung out with a lot of rough crowds when I was in my teens. I was like a little punk kid in the 90s, hated everything, angsty as hell, wanted the world to burn. Played a lot of punk shows. I was in a punk band like in high school. And yeah. I remember being there, just hating everything. But I don't know, man. As you get older, you start to realize like what things kind of really matter, I guess. I'm not saying I don't hate certain things still, but I guess you just have a little bit of a different perspective, I guess. All right, I'm gonna listen to this later. That's some cool art, though. Who did the cover art for that band? For that album, I mean. Yeah, I remember recording for weeks, months. Again, I was the guy that would kit things to 90% and then I'd be like, I can't do this anymore. I'm really good at getting things to 90%. Joe Maruk of Red Buffalo. Cool. I'm always looking for new music. My sister lives in Portland. She says the music scene's pretty good there. It's actually funny. Some dudes that I used to hang with in Phoenix, they were in a band there, and they all moved to Portland, and now they're in a band there. And like without even knowing, my sister sent me. She's like, "Hey, listen to this album. It's really good." Not knowing that I knew all of them, and I was like, I know these guys. Like I legitimately, they were some of my closest friends. I didn't know they moved to Portland. But yeah, it's easy to get things to like 90%, and then that last 10% is the hardest. It's like all the little details of recording and mixing and remixing and yeah, that shit used to drive me crazy. Can you listen to a song that was made where I'm from? It's called Cruise Control. I don't want to put anything on the stream without permission from the person, because one, I can get sued. Two, I don't know the rules on that, but yeah, I'd have to like edit it out, I think, of the recording. But I'll listen to it. I'll listen to it off stream for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I think I said this like on one of the previous streams, but like people would ask me to like turn up my mic all the time, and they'd be like, "I can't hear you," and I'd be like, the problem is like everyone turns their stuff up way too loud now, so like my audio is actually like I'm adjusting the microphone, and like if I go any louder I just start clipping really bad, so I have it like at the very maximum before I start to like clip, but it's still like quiet to people. And I don't know, I think it's just because everybody else has their shit too loud. Like there's no good like audio practices in like YouTube and in streaming. And I even tried to go like a little bit louder one time just to like push it, and the audio quality was garbage. I'll listen to that though. I'm actually, can I copy this? It won't let me copy it from where I'm at. But I'll write a note to myself to listen to. Oh, that was what we were doing earlier. It's called Cruise Control. By 1-4. You got it, man. All right. What else can we get accomplished in like 20 minutes ish? We got these swords, we got these weapons working. We got a melee system working. We got some health systems working where we could take some damage and we can heal ourselves. Hey, it's me in the flesh. Aussie drill? Is that a genre of music? Gotta look this up. I'm gonna do it off stream though because Aussie drill music. What is Aussie drill music? All right, man. The Australia's drill scene is a war zone. Oh, I don't think that's. All right. Oh, 1-4. This is what you're talking about. 1-4. Yeah, I don't want to listen to. Oh, these guys are on Vice. Australia's first drill rappers. Seems interesting. So you're gonna be a rapper? Is that what you're saying? Making music's a lot of fun. Recording music's a lot of fun. Playing shows is a blast. I liked playing shows more than anything. Like, it's pretty exhilarating. Probably like some of the best moments of my life were playing shows with my band. Australia's got Taskmaster. Drill rapper. There's a difference. Okay. I'll look it up, man. You know more about it than I do. Yeah. I got that multi-stream thing going down. Some people say it makes my stream laggy, but you know. What's Taskmaster? Is that that game show? Is it a rapper? Yeah, I don't know how to make you a mod. I mean, there's only 7 people, and I think one of those is me. I don't know how it counts viewers, but I have this stream up too because of so I can look at the comments. The thing with so I have this I pay all this money for these stupid things that don't work. It pisses me off. But I have it's supposed to be multi-stream chat, so I can see all the chat in one place, but it doesn't work. It was working yesterday for an hour. And then it stopped working. Yeah, it's a British show. I think I know someone that watches that show. I've never watched it. They swear it's good. All right. Yeah. What else can we do? What can we do in 15 minutes? That would be fun. That would be one more thing we can throw in. I know you asked about casting. Dude, that is a whole rabbit hole. I watched 10 different videos on casting just to see what other people were saying about it. I mean, it's not that I don't know. I just want to make sure I know what I know, right? I don't want to give people bad advice. That's my whole shtick, right? But people were what was I trying to say? A lot of people were just giving really bad advice. And I was just go. Yeah, people were giving like really bad advice on casting. So I do think I need to make a video on that at some point, but yeah. Oh, you're a military guy? I'm a military. What? Let me make sure I read that, because you put quite a few. Hardcore, East Coast, military, American. Very specific. You know, it's funny, that's like my demographic too. I was in the Navy. I got a picture of my ship on the wall. Yeah, man. Those middle school, high school relationships are not really worth your time, man. It's just not. It's not gonna give you what you want. That's what I could do. Just give advice for the last 10 minutes. Who needs some advice from a crusty Navy sailor? Damn, how did I get that exactly right? Oh, it's not, but still. We were in year 5. All right. We can chill on the harmful language, man. I know you're frustrated, but all right. Thanks for joining, man. Hit me up in the Discord if you need anything. I'm always around, except for when I'm not. I work a normal day job, but yeah. All right. So we got a few things done today. We got this melee system working. What else do we do? Talk a lot of shit. Not a super fruitful stream, but I'm noticing that's like kind of the pattern. Like, streaming isn't about getting shit done. It's just about talking to people, interacting, doing fun stuff, making silly sword slaps. But yeah. Yeah, if anybody isn't part of the Discord, I highly recommend you join there. It's a growing community. Let's say like 65 people now. It's not crazy, but I actually think it's almost 65. It's 63. But it seems like a pretty good group of people. Like, there's a lot of people helping out. Pretty good conversations going on. A lot of people like kind of picking up the slack and helping when I'm not around, like if I'm working and stuff. So yeah, it's a good way to interact with other developers. Or other people that are learning, and you know, things like that. So I mean, I'm also like a little bit partial because I want people to, you know, I mean, I don't get anything about from the Discord server. It's just a way to like help people more. But I am working on, so these streams are mainly like just doing fun stuff. I asked the community like a few days ago if there was anything they wanted to see. So yesterday we worked on this keypad system that I just showed, and we set up a health component, so you can see I have like a health bar, and when I jump in here, like I start to take damage, and this one will heal me. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what we did yesterday. But you know, those are things like the community, the people in the Discord were asking. Like one person asked for this, so we actually spent way too long on this, and I got some help from some of the people in the chat on how to make it better, because I had it working, it was working, but we wanted to make it better, and we did. So this all works now. So as you saw, like this one has this one, the combo is 1 2 3 4. I can open this door, and then I can close it and lock myself in the room. And then this one has a different combo. Like if I do 1 2 3 4, it doesn't work. I'm locked in. So there's another combo for this one, 2 3 4 5, and that will unlock it from the inside. So we made it pretty modular, so you could have like different keypads for different doors. Like this one over here opens this door, and the combo for this one is 1 1 1 1, and open that door. So you can have, we set up so you can have multiple keypads for the same door that can all have different combos. We set up that multiple doors can be opened with the same keypad, so I can like create another door here, and there's a variable on it called door number, and the keypad has a variable on it called switch number, and basically you like link them together so that when I put in this combo, both of those doors will open now. So I think this is a pretty cool system. Like I think just this one system alone is something you could like make an entire puzzle game out of. Just like call it Doors, the Doors game, and all the music is just like crappy Doors covers. That sounds like a fun game. That stuff's got to be public record by now, right? Yeah, so I did that yesterday on the stream. Got some help from the stream on how to make things a little bit cleaner, and like how you could like relock the door. Like the door is now locked even though I already opened it. But yeah, but then I took that stream, I took everything we did, and I just like compressed it down to a quick 12-minute video that you could absorb pretty quickly. So. But yeah, and then today we set up this melee system. It's pretty hacked together, but the point was just to like show a really, really basic implementation of melee. So the way it works is we have an equipped weapon on our character. It's just a variable down here. When we walk up to one of these weapons that are in the level, it moves to our hand. So now it's there. And then once we have an equipped weapon, we can swing with our mighty hand. Kind of just like this really crappy sword swipe. And then if we hit this enemy, we'll actually do damage to them. And we're using a sphere for that. So I'll show, the first thing is we're checking if we have a weapon. And then if we do, we're going to play this montage of an attack animation that we made in Unreal Engine, directly in Unreal Engine. Then we use sphere trace by channel. So we just get a location like 100 units ahead of the character. And we spawn a little sphere there. And then anything that that sphere hits, we're going to check if it has a health component. And if it does, we're going to do some damage. And the reason we did it this way, instead of just like checking if it's an enemy, maybe we want to be able to hit like barrels and break them and stuff like that. So if we wanted to do that, we could just put the health component on a barrel. Like I could do that real quick. Actor. So let's just put a cylinder in here. Then we add the health component. What do we want? Health component. Called Death Dispatcher. Bind. Event to Death Dispatcher. Custom. Death. Destroy. All right, so now we can put this barrel in there. Let's also set the health to something lower, like 20. Also, I don't want it to be, I want it to be like wood. A nice walnut barrel. Look at that. So now I can go pick up one of these weapons. And boom, got it. Done. Dead barrel. So like, yeah, maybe we wanted to like have this barrels like maybe we wanted to have it like, we'll use this as a placeholder to like spawn some coins. Right? A little Zelda action, right? You're gonna run around and destroy all the little barrels everywhere and get the rupees. So yeah. Like on the enemy, the enemy has a it has a health component too, so we can get that and then bind to Death Dispatcher. So we can whack this enemy with the crappy animation we made, and then when it dies it says I am dead now. So the point is, like, we've made a health component now that can handle everything itself, and it can be used on any actor to handle various things. So one of the things that someone asked me earlier is like, why am I not using something like this, right? I left it in here for this point. So we could just on our melee just use like we could just use the apply damage on the, like, where is it? Oh, it's here. We could just use apply damage here instead. Like, take this hit actor and apply damage. and then implement this on all of our actors. But then we have to do this on every actor, and that's just like extra steps that we don't need. If we can just have the health component handle everything itself, to me, that's just a way better system. So, at the end of the montage, right now, it destroys the actor when it starts. Yeah. So, how I would do that is, let's go to that. Where did we put that? Nope. Characters, mannequins, animations. So here's the attack that we made, right? So I can open this. Look at that. That's how terrible it is, right? So let's pause it. Let's find the point where like the sword would swipe someone, like right there, let's say, right? So we just add a notify. This never works. Where do I gotta click to do this? It's like, oh, because I can't be in the montage. I need to be in the actual. Add notify. New notify. Damage. All right, so now I have a notify called damage. So then what I would do is disconnect all of this. And let's do a custom event here called damage I don't know, enemies. So now here in my animation blueprint, this one. In my event graph, on my animation blueprint, I can do damage. What do we call it? Damage. All right. I'm just going to use a cast to make this faster. I don't think using a cast here is a bad thing, because again, this is the player character is always going to be in the game, right? So I don't think there's a problem with using a cast here. And then damage enemy. What do we call that? Oh, it's in the, is it here? You could also, yeah, so probably a better way to do this. Let's just stop ourselves before we go too far. I'm going to take all this. put in my player character. What was that? Oop. All right, now we should be able to do this. Damage enemies. So now when I swing that sword, it'll happen like at that point, right? So now it's going to do damage like when we actually hit them. That's that. I live close to Boston, north of Boston. Like up by New Hampshire, up by the New Hampshire border. Yeah, it is better, you're right. The only problem is like, so this is where I've been just really trying to like, again, like I talked about this earlier, like the whole thing of like when you should cast, when you shouldn't cast. Like sometimes you just have to cast and there's nothing you can do about it. There's only one way. Like this might be a situation where we don't need to cast. There may be another way to do this. Like a cleaner way, maybe. I just don't personally see it. Like, I guess we could move all of this code here, but then I just feel like that's also coupled. So the issue now is like, one, we're coupled to player character. So this won't work with any other actor that doesn't inherit from player character. But two, if any other actor is using this anim blueprint, it's always going to be loading player character into memory as part of this. Like, so I don't know. It really just depends. Like, do you really want to split hairs over this stuff? You know what I mean? Like, people get so angry about casting and like they immediately discredit someone. Like, oh, they used a cast node, they must not know what they're doing. And I'm like, do we really need to like worry so much about it, or do we just want to make some fun games, right? Like, is this terrible? No, it's not like gonna break my game. I know what game I'm making. This is a throwaway project. I'm not selling this to anybody. I'm not trying to sit here and say like I'm the best developer in the world. Does this really hurt that much? No, because I know for this game, I'm only ever gonna use player character. And so there's nothing wrong with this. It's fine. Oh, you live in Salem? It's pretty close, man. Yeah, I'm up in Amesbury, right by the border. Most people don't even know where that is, but it's where 495 ends. It's at the end of 495, right before you get to New Hampshire. Yeah, so you could do that up here. This is kind of like begin play on animation blueprints. It's not called begin play, but essentially like this is the first thing that happens, and we could, like here they're doing it, right? It's just a different class. So actually we could just do this. And then I'm going to save before I do this, because sometimes this causes Unreal Engine to crash. So then we get this variable, wherever that is, references. We can change this to type player character. Yeah, Unreal Engine gets angry. But now this is of type player character, so now we could just do this instead. And that'll work. And that way we're not casting every time we do the damage. We only cast once when we're loading it, and then that's it. So when this animation blueprint is loaded, we cache that variable, and then we just have it. And we can use it whenever we want. The problems of this is, like, now we can't use this animation blueprint on any other actor. Like, it has to inherit from, or it doesn't have to, but that cast will fail if this is not, if my owning actor is now not of type player character, it'll get this pin, and whatever happens after this, like anywhere where we're using this variable, won't work. Like here even, it won't work. So you just need to understand the risk, like understand what you're doing. If you're gonna do something like this, like I would recommend like having like maybe a base character class that you set up, and then having everything inherit from that, even like enemies and stuff, anything you want to use this blueprint for. Exactly. Yeah, man. I just don't know why people get so like maniacal about this, and I just think they're all parrots. Like one person at one point said you shouldn't cast, and that person had enough clout that everyone else in the world was allowed to, like, yeah, we shouldn't cast. But if you ask any of them why, they'll say, oh, it's resource intensive. And then you say, what does that mean? Explain that. And I guarantee you like 90% of people couldn't articulate it any further. And at some point they'll just be like, well, I heard that it was like that. And it's like, all right, well, maybe like do your own research, you know? Like, I'm not an expert. I don't know what I'm talking about. I could be completely wrong. But I'm also not sitting here saying I'm the expert. I'm just like trying to talk through why I would use a cast and like why not to. Like there may be situations where you don't want this. But if I'm just making a fun game for myself, like no one's ever going to see my source code, right? And there is actually a famous quote from some like really famous developer. I could Google it and find it in like 2 seconds, but I'm not going to. But basically he says like every game is janky. Every game, if you look under the hood, is just held together by rubber bands and shitty cast nodes where they shouldn't be. And no one's gonna sit there and be like, oh, the game's not fun because they used a cast node. Like no one's gonna care, man. Just make a fun game. Stop worrying so much about dumb stuff. Right? Rant over. That's gonna be my whole video. It's just gonna be me like shitting on people talking about casting. I am gonna make a video on casting. I just know that people are like really it's like everyone has an opinion on it, and I feel like as soon as I make that video, there's like gonna be a line drawn in the sand. People are gonna be like, nah man, don't listen to that guy. He said you could cast. He said casting is fun. You know. Yeah, there's so much conflicting info. Dude, I watched this one video about, because I watched like 10 videos on casting. I think I watched almost every video on YouTube about casting. And this one dude, I won't name him, but if you find enough videos, you'll find it. The dude like starts talking about casting, about why you shouldn't do it, and like every example he provided, I was just like, that's like really dumb. Like, that's a terrible example. Like, and it was clear to me that he actually didn't even know what he was talking about. I think he was literally just like regurgitating things he had heard. But one of the examples he gave, and I'll show it, like, where is my weapon? All right, here, for instance, right? So like from here, like here's a really good example. I'll just do this really quick. Let's this variable is of type weapon, right? So I can cast to BP weapon. And you know what's gonna happen? If anybody knows, I'll give you a second. This is gonna give me a warning. It's gonna give me a note. It's already a type BP weapon, so you don't need to cast to it. This is a waste. Like, that was one of his examples. And I was like, well, yeah, like, you're kind of missing the point, though. So what we do know is that sword inherits from weapon, right? So let's say that there was some special case where the sword does something different. Maybe, no, you're not going to paint a target. But let's say maybe the sword, like we have a pipe and a sword, right? We have this lead pipe and we have a sword. But let's say that the sword we want to like do some blood or something. I don't know. So we could have a event on here called do some blood, right? And it's gonna print. It's gonna print. Look at all that blood, right? So we can cast to BP sword from here, right? Yeah. And then if this cast works, then we can do some blood, right? So now, now I'll show. I'm gonna grab a pipe, and this is not gonna do some blood, right? It's just gonna cause damage. But then if I get my sword, look at all that blood. Look at all that blood. But the pipe doesn't do it, right? The pipe just causes them to take damage. So this is like an example of where you could cast something, right? Now, here's the problem with this. So let's do save all. This is just the video. I'm not even gonna make the video. No, I will still make the video because I want it to be less bullshitting. Let's find that weapon. Let's find that. Oh, let's find our player character. If I look here and we find it, where is it? BP sword, right? And BP weapon. So even if there is not a sword or a weapon anywhere in the world, we're still going to load those into memory. And specifically, the sword is going to be 25 megabits, and I can't see what this one says, but I don't know, what's that, another 20? So we're loading all that into memory. Even if there's not one in the world, we're still going to be, yeah. So this is a valid reason why maybe if you're like making a really like you want to make a game that is not resource intensive, you want to make it like super streamlined. I maybe do not want to have these loaded into the level at all time, right? I mean, unless you're making like a mobile game, I would just say like, who really cares, man? Like, just make a fun game, and then get it picked up by a major developer, and then just give them the source code and be like, you figure it out, right? Where did I cast a sword though? Where did I cast a weapon? Maybe here? No, I didn't. But yeah, if I delete this now, so I'm still pulling weapon from somewhere. Maybe it's because I have it set as a variable. I don't know. But when you hear people talk about like hard references, this is what they're talking about. It's like a hard reference. Now, like no matter what, this sword is always part of my character. Versus a soft reference where you pull it in, you use it for what you need to, and then you like get rid of it. I just don't care that much. I mean, I do to the point where like I want to make good games that work well, but at the end of the day, like I just want to make it fun. I just want to have fun. Yeah. And I'm all about like iterative design. So like prototype something, get it working, and then try to clean it up a little bit, try to refactor some things, maybe like realize like where you're using the same code twice and you can make it a function. Make it more human readable. One thing I'm really bad about is commenting my code. So like a lot of times I'll just be like, fuck, where is that thing? Like, is this it? Oh, there it is, right? I don't comment my code very well. My event graphs are usually just kind of like a free-flowing thoughts. But get it working and then figure out, all right, can we make it a little bit better? Is there anything we could streamline? Is there anything we're not using? Like, can we take some things out? Like a lot of times I'll go back through my actors or my classes and I'll find like a bunch of variables I made with the intent of using them, and then I didn't use them, or I like got rid of some functionality and I forgot to get rid of all the extra variables. So yeah, you just like, but get it working, make it fun, and then go back and clean it up, fix it, you know? That's how I look at it. You're making a GTA remake in 7 hours. When it's done, would you like to test it? Sure, man. You put it on my Discord, or send me a DM in Discord. I'll check it out. Yeah. Also, like I've found sometimes, like if you get really stuck in the details too early, you'll you may make like the most streamlined and perfect system, and you'll be like, damn, I'm like the best programmer in the world. Like I should just be hired right now to work for any company I want, because I'm just so good at this. And then you go to do the next thing and you're like, shit, that doesn't work. Like, oh man, I gotta go redo all that stuff I just did. All right. And then you're right back to like, so you just spent all this time making something perfect just to like throw away half of it. So I just say like, get everything working, make a fun game, and then after you have it the way you want it, then you can go back and fix things. Like this crappy animation that we made. If I'm prototyping this game, I am not worrying about that. That's not something I'm going to worry about for a very long time. It's clear to the player that I am using my sword to hit things in the world. Why do I need to fix that? Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's working perfectly fine right now. So, like, if I was prototyping this game for someone, I'd probably just leave that for like a while. Like, maybe it's not as like low priority as like polish, like the very, very last stage where you're just like cleaning up all the gross things. But for a prototype, that is fine. It is clear to someone that I am swinging my arm and it is causing damage to the things. Done. That's it. So I also think a lot of people, when they're first learning, severely underestimate the importance of writing down all of your ideas before you program a single line of code. You should write down everything you want your game to do, everything you want it to be, all of the ways the different systems are going to work, how everything will work together, especially for something like an inventory system. Like, how is the inventory going to work? How can players like equip items, move items around? What does equipping an item mean? Do they get stats? What kind of items can they equip? Write it all down first, and then like literally you're just programming that stuff. It's just so much simpler. It's like 100 times easier. I had one client that like told me he wanted me to make him a game. I started making it, and we would meet once a week to like discuss progress. I'd show him what I had, and he'd kind of like talk through like things he liked, didn't like, things he wanted to change. You know, it's pretty typical. Sometimes like as you're working on games, like you realize something's maybe not as fun as you thought it would be, so you're like, all right, let's scrap that, or let's change that. But it was like every other day this guy'd call me and be like, oh, I thought of a new idea. And I'd be like, this is impossible for me to program. Like I can't make a game this way, because like every time I get something done, you want to change it. And I have a feeling you're just gonna eventually run out of money, because you're paying me by the hour. And that's exactly what happened. He ran out of money, and we had nothing. Like everything was just half done, half baked ideas. Nothing really worked, and we just tossed the project. Like it was it. It's the end of it. So, yeah. All right. At that point, I think it's been almost 4 hours now. I'm tired of listening to myself talk. I'm sure the 5 of you that are here are feeling the same. So if you haven't already, please head to my YouTube channel, check it out. Subscribe to it so you can see when I'm making new videos. There's also a Discord. It's a really cool community. There's a lot of cool people on there. I recommend, if you're looking for a place that you can meet other developers, maybe even collaborate at some point. I think we're probably going to be doing some game jams together. I might even host a game jam eventually if we have enough people that are interested. So, yeah, head to the Discord, check it out. I think it's a fun community. You can always leave it too, right? Like, there's no shame in trying it and just being like, oh, these guys are lame, I don't like any of them. But check it out, see what you can find. But like I said earlier, I'll be streaming again next Friday, probably similar time, like early afternoon, late morning, early afternoon. All the streams are on my YouTube channel too, so you can always go back and watch me talk to myself there. But yeah, thanks. Where do I join the Discord? There's a link on YouTube, but I can put it in there for you, unless someone else beats me to it. Invite people. This is going to be good for 7 days. There's the Discord. It's also if you're watching on Twitch, that happens like there's a bot. The bot doesn't work on YouTube for some reason. I don't know why, but I'll figure this shit out, man. I'll figure it out when there's 5 streamers instead of like 50 or 500. But yeah, I'll and if anyone needs anything, you always reach out to me on Discord, reach out to me in the comments of the YouTubes, reach out to me wherever. But thanks for everybody for joining, and I'll talk to you later.